Hello, everyone. Patriot 5 and Patriot 6 here. Monday night. Let's see what we got on the agenda tonight. No one's here, so I'm going to go ahead and say the pledge. Then I'm going to play the music, and then we'll be back. Hopefully some people will be here by then, and we'll get this thing going. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, where the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, oh, from sea to shining sea. From Detroit down to Houston, New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, oh, and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I'm ready to stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless you.
Yes, God bless the USA. Proud to be an American. And guys, I got started tonight a minute late. No one was here, but I didn't wait for people to get here because I wanted to make sure we get this show on the road. And the reason is I'm sure everybody is experiencing it, and we'll talk about it in a few minutes after I talk to the kids, but the weather. And we're going to have a good discussion about this. Papa G and Bill Woods, Ian, Bill, and Janet, Jeffrey, and Tony, and I think I got all of them that's here right now. But we're going to have a good talk about this because, boy, I tell you, if they're doing what I think they're doing, they need to be taken out and be whipped. They need to be taken out and be spanked because what this is going on is total ridiculous. If they was going to do this, they could have did this in the middle of this summer. And we're going to talk about this because, quite frankly, I am sick and tired of hearing some of this stuff. But we're going to get to this, right, Pamela Streb? You're tired too, aren't you? What's that? But anyway, like I said, we will get to this. But I want to talk to the kids. I want to talk to Jimmy and I don't know, Jimmy, how things are going. I know you're homeschooled, but it does affect you because here, when a kid is homeschooled, if the schools in the area don't have school because of weather, they don't have to be homeschooled that day. They get the day off too, the same as the kids. Now, we have two situations here where we're at, Jimmy, and Patriot 11. We have two situations. We have one school district, Herscher, where my granddaughter Kira, 3 years old, they got her in preschool already, and small Hank, we have where when they do a day off like this, they get e-learning. E-learning, my total rip butt. Excuse my expression, kids, but you know with the word but. But e-learning like that is ridiculous because, believe me, I'm in the house today. I never seen the kids do anything. Maybe 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Little Kira's finally going to preschool, so she's finally being forced to take a nap because the babysitter would not force her to take a nap, which meant when Mandy, my daughter-in-law, picked her up at night from the babysitter and had that hour trip home, she would always fall asleep, and by the time she got home, she's 3 years old, she's tired. She wants to sleep the rest of the night. And then about 3:30 or 4 o'clock, she's ready to go. Hungry because she missed supper. But they're teaching her that they all got to lay down in the afternoon and take a nap, and she's doing good at it. And now, 2 days now, Friday and Monday, no schools. And I want to talk about the weather, why no schools in a little bit. But you know, Patriot Karate Kid and Patriot Wyatt Earp, I'm sure that you guys are experiencing it. It's experiencing all over. What do you do when you have a day? Are you going to school? Are you homeschooled? I don't know. Now, I want to get to Patriot Princess, our queen. Did you see, guys, did you see her? I think Ron did. I think I showed him, Pamela, Bill. You know, did you see our queen on Facebook the other day? She got a brand new pink bat. And what's funny, you know, a brand new pink bat probably costs $200, $300. I know the one they got Liam, I think they said cost $300. $300 for a bat. When I was Liam's age and Ron was a little older and Russ was a little older and we played ball, we had wooden bats, and if we broke them, kids, we didn't go crying to mom and dad. If we broke them, we found a hammer and nails, and we hammered the nails and put some black tape over them, and that's how we used them, and we kept using them until we couldn't use them no more. And then if we was lucky and made enough money on the paper route, we'd go buy a couple new bats. $300 for a 10-year-old for a bat. And like I said, Princess, I don't know how much yours cost, but the thing is, Liam wanted the pink one too. Now, you may think Patriot 7 is a little bit of a sissy because he wanted a pink bat. No, because he's smart enough to realize pink stands for cancer. And he wants to help, step out and do something. He, so much so, Patriot Hunter, so much so that this young man in a football game talked his friends into dyeing their hair down the middle pink and wore pink socks at the game. They didn't care if people ridiculed them. They had a goal. They had a purpose. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that when a kid can do something like that. Patriot Boogs, Boogaloo, and Boogaroo, and Boogie, you know, do you play any sports? I know a couple of you is too small, but Boogs, you're a teenager. Have you sung to Grandpa John yet about your boyfriend? Why must I be a teenager in love? Yeah, John, it's coming, buddy. Because I got an 11-year-old. I got an 11-year-old super gymnast. And I'm telling you, in a way, I feel sorry for her, super gymnast, because, see, she's 11. But she's going to a junior high where it's 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And she gets along with the 7th and 8th grades. When she did that play last year, she became friends with 7th and 8th graders. Now, some of them are freshmen in high school and still her friend. But you know what girls that age do? They don't like to go out unless they're looking their best. Because just in case a boy looks at them, they want to look their best. So they want a little bit of makeup. And they won't let her wear even a little bit. maybe a little eye around here. And I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong, but I keep my mouth shut because she's my granddaughter, not my daughter. But I was the same way. I didn't want that. But see, the difference with what my son-in-law and my daughter is not realizing about Ella, Patriot super gymnast, what they're not realizing is she's in a situation, she's light skinned. Where my daughter took after her mom and she was more or less a darker skin. It always looked like my daughter had a tan. And in the summer when she got a tan, she was just like her mom. She was deep dark, you know. But you got to let kids be kids and don't look at it. And I'm not cutting my daughter down. And just in case she comes on and happens to watch it, because Ella's been coming on here lately. In case you hear me, Amber, I'm not cutting down the way you do parenting. I'm just telling you that she's growing up. And as much as it hurts you, and as much as it hurts me, and as much as we want to keep them young forever, right, John? You want to keep all of your grandkids young forever. What about you, Mike? With your great granddaughter, little Leona, or little Elon's grandparents and mom and dad, one of the twins that was born to Kelly. Kelly is the grandmother. You want to keep them young, but they don't stay young. And that's what our job is, kids. That's why we're meeting here 3 nights a week, and we're constantly in contact 7 days a week to set this world up for you. For you. And I told this story the other day. I'm going to tell it again tonight for those who missed, because the little monkey, Addison, her mommy gave her an assignment last Friday. And she put the word bear on our bears on the bulletin board and said, with the words we've learned, make a sentence out of the word bears. The other kids are going, the bears walk in the woods. The bears are big animals. They're just little things, but not the little monkey. The little monkey goes, because she knows her grandpa is a Bears fan. And she goes, the Bears are the best team in the football. I know, because my grandpa loves them. And then she takes and makes a C. And then she goes and comes down and makes the C again and connects it and colors it orange like the Bears emblem. 5 years old, guys. And these are the people. Kids, you're the kids when we talk to you. When we talk to you, I miss old Josh. And I miss Haley, who used to be with us. The kids that used to be with us. That was amazing. Kaylee would do things to get us laughing sometimes for 15 or 20 minutes. Josh, remember the night, guys, for all of you that's been with me for a long time, remember that Josh, because we named him Patriot Smiley. And Josh went out there and he came on the show one night and he spoke on the show and he asked every one of us to smile. And anybody who smiled was supposed to put a thumbs up, and we counted and he got like 50 smiles, and it made his day. I know, because I talked to his mom the next day on the phone and said, what you did was totally amazing. Now, since then, they've decided to go, as the song said, go their own way. But just because the parents decided to go their own way, just because, Haley's mom decided to go another way, does not mean we don't still love these kids. And that's what it's about, kids. It's about you guys, about our love for you guys. And we do. We love you with all our hearts. Now, I know I did the kids a little bit different tonight. I brought you all in, but I covered each and every one of you. I didn't give you a big speech. I didn't give you all of this and all that. So tell me, kids, if you get a chance, have your mommy or daddy or grandpa, if they're on the show, give a thumbs up. If you've got a couple days off school. And as I talk here, guys, to all these kids that, even though I've never met, but I mean, if you look at a picture of our princess, our queen, if you look at a picture of her and you see her smile, if you can't love her, there's something wrong. If you look at a picture of Bugs or John's other grandkids, if you can't love them, little Leona and little Elon, oh my goodness, Karate Kid and Wyatt Earp. When I got a chance to talk to them on the phone, I've never heard so much excitement in their voice until I talked to Patriot 11 that one day, and he just loves the show, and he follows it whenever his mom and dad will let him watch it. Now, if he was at Grandma and Grandpa's, he would watch it all the time. But you know what? Grandma and Grandpa's stashed away safe in a nice warm climate out there in that state where Patriot Savior lives, in Arizona. Super Jimmy, he brings so much to the show. Sometimes I think he brings too much to the thing, but it is what it is. And we love each and every kid. And what I would give to have Smiling Josh and Haley back, have their moms back, and just forget things ever happened the way they happened. Why they did, only God knows. But we moved on, and they seem to have moved on because none of them contact us. But that doesn't mean we don't love them, and we love each and every kid. Now, remember, kids, this show is not meant for you. You can watch it under the discretion of your parents, grandparents, or legal guardians. That concludes tonight's version. Now, the music we play, we have no legal rights to. If I play any other videos, we have no legal rights to them. We use them for entertainment purposes or learning purposes. They have nothing to do with us. It's just that it's something that I think can help Janet and Larry. And it's something that I think can help Maria and Pamela. This is something that we do. Klatomi, 1968, and Ian Bell. It's something that we do as a family. If you see tonight's thing, it's not Patriot 5 and Patriot 6. It's Patriot 5, Patriot 6, and family. And that's what it has to be. So I wanted to talk to you about the weather. And if you guys are listening, and I see guys are thumbs upping and clapping and smiling and blushing, and I don't know what that one that Janet just put up there is down at the bottom. It's a smile with a couple of hands under it, it looks like. But if you guys are listening, what do you think about the weather? Do you think what I think, that it's being controlled? Because I really do. But I think the difference is it's being controlled by the good people, not the bad. But see, this is what throws me off. And this is what I really wanted to talk about, because I really believe it's being controlled. My son-in-law right now, I have no idea where he's at. I think he's in North Carolina. He works for a large tree trimming company that goes all over the United States when we have bad weather. He's based here in Illinois, but he goes all over on times it's crucial. Now, I don't know if you know a lot about North Carolina. Is there any North Carolinians on here tonight? If there is, give a double thumbs up. But I don't know if you know anything, but I have a friend in North Carolina. Well, I used to. It's funny because you meet someone online, you do home business with someone, and you become great friends. But then when you actually meet them in real life and you think, wow, they're even more fabulous meeting them in real life. And you spend time with them, and you drive all the way from Louisiana back to Illinois. And my son's with me, and we're talking about how great it was to meet this woman. And when we get back, it was like 5, 6, 8 years we were friends, great friends. We talked, and we met, and I met her daughter, loved her daughter with all of my heart, loved her with all of my heart, thought it was great. When we get back, she hardly wanted to speak to me. We've now not talked for 6 years. But I want to tell you a story about North Carolina and the storms. They're not prepared like we are in Illinois. They're not prepared. They're prepared like they are in Arizona. Could you imagine Arizona ever get 5, 6 inches of snow? It probably wouldn't matter, because the next day it'd be 75 degrees and it's just slush. But what I'm saying is North Carolina is used to warmer weather. And when I was still talking to Sherry, they got 1 1/2 inches of snow. 1 1/2 inches of snow. And they called work off for the people for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday because they knew they couldn't get it cleaned up in time to get the people to work. 1 1/2 inches. If we get 1 1/2 inches, it's like, oh, I thought it was supposed to snow. Is that right, Ian Bell? Do you agree with me, Golden Arrow? How about you, Tara Faulkner? It's all there. Tara's from New Zealand. Welcome, New Zealand. How is it down there? Are you excited about possibly becoming part of the United States? Now, I haven't heard that lately, but that's everything I'm hearing, that they're going to become a state. Them and Australia are going to become part of the United States. And wouldn't that be great? Because, see, I've always wanted to see every state in the United States, and that is my goal before I pass away, to go to every state in the United States. And boy, wouldn't it be great if I could go to New Zealand and Australia and be part of my country? Wow, lots of thumbs up, lots of thumbs up. But I want to talk about the weather. Do you believe it's being taken care of, that they're in control of it? I do. But see, my question is, where's the heart? Where's the love? And what I mean by where's the heart and where's the love? 14 yesterday in New York. 14 would be a heat wave here, Papa G. My goodness gracious, you should have went out in your shorts. Did you get a sunburn? We had a beautiful day here today. It got up to a whole 8 degrees. And the thing of it is, when you do a week survey, we're not going to have one night for the next 6 nights. And we haven't had one night for the previous 3. If things go the way they say, we're not going to have one night here in Illinois for 9 straight days. And we can't go any further. You only go 10 days. I think it's the whole 10 days. 10 days in a row. By the time it hit midnight, before I get up in the morning at 2:30 in the afternoon, by the time I get up, it will hit under 0. But you know what? We're still here. But if they're controlling the weather, why now? Why not do this in the summertime when they could maybe give us some heat? Why not do this in the summertime where they give us rain? So it's raining. Why wait till now? Because, see, our lovely, our amazing, our tremendous president still has not gotten the homeless off of the street. He has still not ended the war in Russia and in Ukraine. Oh, you know what? He's smarter than 10 people playing chess. Well, maybe he should become the president again and quit about playing chess and get this stuff done. Because I'm telling you right now, these people in the Ukraine, you think we're suffering here? No, we have it like carte blanche. We have it like we're in the greatest suites, in the greatest hotels in the world compared to them. When you have to go to bed and you have to wear 2 pair of pants or long johns and 3 pair of socks and your winter coat with your hood pulled up and sleep under the covers just to get warm. No, that's not right. Would you agree, Pamela? That's not right, is it? Hi, Myrna. What do you think? Myrna, how was your vacation? If I seen right, I thought I saw you go on vacation. Well deserved if you went. Well, you're kind of busy. That's okay. Myrna, don't worry about it. If you just stop in to say hi, if you just send us a message and tell us, hey, I'm busy, See, Myrna is a great woman, but see, Myrna and me get along, even though that if all men was like me, if all women was like me, Myrna'd be out of business. She wouldn't have a job, see, because it's pretty hard to cut my hair, isn't it, Myrna? But when she come up for my birthday party, she offered to cut my hair.
She didn't offer to cut mine. I will.
Ron says you didn't offer to cut his, Myrna. He'd let you. But I'm pretty sure you did. At my party, I'm pretty sure you told him you to cut his hair for him. But I think we had a few drinks at that party, didn't we? So a lot of things might not be remembered, but boy, that was a great time. And a great time when you talk about that party. Can you imagine what it's going to be like when we all get together? Wow. It's going to be so great, don't you think, Kevin? So did have a good time then, huh, Myrna? I'm glad to see you get away with some friends.
Where'd she go?
She went on a vacation. I don't remember where. Tropical. Ron wanted. Where did you go, Myrna? Ron wanted to know. Well, you don't need to do 3 meetings in one night, Myrna. You just got to come to the best one right here. Haven't you learned? Closing in on 6 years? No, we're not the best. We're far from it. But we try hard. So, as I said, I really believe they're controlling. Marco Island, you went? Marco Island, I guess, Ron. Minnesota, a lot's been exposed there, Papa G. I watch, you guys, you got to hear this. I was on TikTok the other day, and they come up with this little video. I go on to watch the videos. And they come on with this little video, Karen. And it says, the 5 worst cities to live in the United States of America. But before we give the top 5, who will guess what the number 1 city to live in the United States of America is? Guys, if you're listening to me, I'm not going to reveal the 5 worst right now. But if you're listening to me, put in what state you think is the best state to live in right now, they say, in the United States. I'm going to give you about 2 minutes, and then I'll finish the story. But just, if you would play along with me here, it's 7 degrees now. It might be a heat wave. What is it here, Ron?
I think it was 5.
Ron says it's 5 here. We had a heat wave. But the thing, if it didn't get past 8
Ours is going up tonight.
It didn't get past 8 degrees. But even though it didn't get past 8 degrees, the sun was out. And if you put the salt down, it would melt. Naples, Florida, one says. Southern Missouri. Come on, a few more. Home sweet home, Alabama.
The worst state?
Long Island, New York. Well, Long Island, New York, Papa G, I'm going to tell you, New York came in as the 4th worst place to live. Tennessee. I like Tennessee. Lots of good country singers there. Okay, well, here's what they said. The best place to live, Arizona. Yes, I hear that's really nice. They say the best place to live, Virginia, Hawaii. Now, that would be my bet. Karen Alsbury, that would have been my bet. The best place would have been Hawaii. Wisconsin, another Tennessee. Hawaii, again, expensive, yes. North Carolina. But, okay, guys, I'm gonna tell you what they said. Now, get ready for this because it's going to blow your socks off. They say the best place to live, the best state to live in the United States of America is that state where Tim Walz is the governor. The state of Minnesota. You got to be kidding me. When I seen that, I said, okay, I live in Illinois. Illinois is going to be the worst state to live in. And it was. The 5th worst state was California. Then it was New York. Then it was New Jersey. And the one that really surprised me, because someone had it up here, the number 3 worst state to live in was the state of Alabama. And I've always heard good things about Alabama. Illinois was the worst one. But, I mean, I understand they can go by worst governors, but there's not a worse governor in the United States of America than Tim Walz. And I'm not cutting the man down. He's just stupid. It blew my mind. But thank you guys for all of you getting in there. Medford, Wisconsin. I like up by the Wisconsin Dells. I used to have a timeshare up there until I got divorced, and then all of a sudden I paid for it, but it disappeared. The judge said he'll get it one year and you'll get it the next, but it disappeared. And in 20 happily married years, 20 happily married years of divorce. I mean, 20 happily years of divorce. Not, I never had 20 happily married years. I didn't have 2 happily married years, but maybe before, well, maybe Tony, that could be. But anyway, that's what they said. So let's see what we got tonight. I'm going to be honest with you guys. My son, one of my son's favorite saying is, I'm not going to lie to you. Well, he'll look at me and he'll say, you know, Dad, I'm not going to lie to you. And I says, well, since I raised you not to lie, why would you even have to say that? But he says it a lot. He tells me, I'm not going to lie to you, Dad. And then he starts talking about, oh, I got to get my head on straight. I keep thinking, I don't know. I can't get it straight. How's that look? But anyway, you know, I'm not going to lie to you. And then he'll say something about my daughter-in-law. And I said, well, there's number 1. Then he'll come down and say something, don't go around, and there's number 2. But no, guys, you just got to have fun. Today's been a really rough day for me. It really has. But you'll never know it. Because when I come on here, I wipe all my sorrows away. Why is it rough? Well, sometimes days go good and sometimes days go bad. Today was one of those that went bad, but it's getting, as a famous friend of mine once said, it's getting gooder. I always thought that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's getting gooder. But you know, it's a phrase I use a lot now because I just like the way it sounds. It's getting better. Everybody says it's getting better. It's getting gooder. Or another phrase I used to like when I was detasseling corn. And there was this one girl this one year. She only detasseled 1 year. I detasseled 7 or 8. But she detasseled 1 year, and she just happened to get in my crew. And she was like me. She was flamboyant. She liked to talk a lot. And I don't know if any of you guys ever detasseled corn. And right after Katomi and Tony and Jerry Wells, right after it rains, they don't care. You're back in that field and it's wet and you're going down that corn and you're getting soaked. Then you come out of the corn, you go back down in it again, you get soaked, and then you finish the field, you get to get on the truck and hop in the back of the truck, and you're wringing wet, and all of a sudden that sun comes out and it's 95 degrees in August, and it's like, are you kidding me? They didn't care. But when that sun would come out, this girl had a saying, it's hotter than a popcorn fart. Think of that. Or don't think of it. It's up to you. But it's just something. Yeah, it is a joke about that. You're right, Maria and Jeffrey. It is a joke. Hi, Karen. Oh, other people used to fish for suckers? Yeah, I did too. Suckers and carp. Man, we used to catch carp this big. I'll tell you a story about my nephew. I was teaching him to fish. Well, he always went with me and my brother Russ, and Ron would go along. Ron never liked to fish, but he liked sitting there in the creek, getting the walking and getting the exercise, and sitting there in the creek. And, you know, 3 brothers go fishing with a couple of nephews. Hey, you always got to take a cooler of beverages. Well, the beverages for the kids were that soda cup. The beverages for the grown-ups was that other stuff. And this was a year that we went fishing down this creek, and I'm telling you, these carp in there were so huge. And my nephew was only about 12 years old. And we kept telling him how big they were. And he kept, yeah, you guys are drinking too much. You don't know what you're talking about. And all of a sudden, his pole almost went in the water. He was able to jump up, grab it, and he jerked in that pole. I thought it was going to break in half. He brought it in, and it was like a 13-pound carp. I mean, I can't get my hands big enough to show you how that big that carp. It took him almost a half an hour to land that fish. When he got done, we're all congratulating, man. We catch and release. Hey, that carp lived to be that big. We don't need to take him home. And we had people that would take. Well, there was a lady that her husband was sick, and what's in the fish, he needed these ingredients, these vitamins and stuff from fish. He needed to eat fish 2 to 3 days a week. And we would take these carp, some of them, to her, and she would take them and boil them and grind them up. And she would make us, like, have you ever ate salmon patties or things like that? She would make a carp patty, and I'm telling you, they were delicious. The way she grinded them up, the bones were there, but you couldn't taste them. They were just super. But this fish, when you're that big, you're that old, hey, you're going to die in your home in that water. And that's how we fought. But all of a sudden, we looked around. We couldn't figure out where our nephew was. What's going on? And we looked over, and he had laid on the ground and was taking a nap. He was so worn out. And that's what fishing is. 4 degrees now and 5 tomorrow. Well, Ron says it's supposed to warm up here tonight, but if it does, it means it's not going below zero. And it said that we're going below zero every night. It's 4 degrees here right now. Oh, it is. We're not going below zero tonight. Oh, my goodness. We're going up to, at 5 a.m. in the morning, we're going up to 12. Tomorrow, we're supposed to hit a high. They changed the forecast. We're supposed to hit a high of 13 tomorrow. But then we go the next day. Oh, they have changed them. Oh, that's good. Tonight, the low is supposed to be 0. But according to what they're here. Anyway, enough for the weather. I just believe they're controlling it. And I believe that it's wrong because you could have did it in a time where it wouldn't have hurt people. Right now, there are people probably dying because of the cold. And Charlie Ward and Wolverine and all of these people can say 1,000,000 times to me, it's a movie. It's a movie. It's already been played out. You're going to see it. Well, I'm sorry. Because see, my brother-in-law and another dear friend of mine passed away. My ex-sister-in-law just passed away, and it was so cold, they cremated her so they can have a memorial for her later because they couldn't keep her. The ground was so hard, they couldn't dig the hole to bury her. This is a lady that's younger than me, and she passed away. Why? Why? Because we're taking our time getting the people on these beds. And then you have these people talk about these beds, these amazing beds, the journeys that we're going to go through with these. And they tell us you have to be in the right frame of mind or they won't work for you. Poppycock, I say. No way. There's no way. You have to be in the right frame of mind because right now they're using for the children. The children that they found under the ground, the children that was brutally taken and destroyed, the ones that they found that they couldn't tell you what's right, left, or in between. They was so messed up. But now these kids getting on these magical beds, they're asking for ice cream. They want to do things that kids do. So to my kids section, whenever you think you're having a bad day, remember there's always someone having a worse one. Financially, I'm not in the greatest spot right now because of something that happened to me. I tried to rectify it and it just got worse, and I've decided to cut my losses. So I'm not in the greatest financial situation. And I was talking to a lady today, and she says, well, if you're that bad off, why do you still help people? And I said, because it's the right thing to do. You know what? As long as I got food on the table, a roof over my head, and heat in my house, and even if I don't have heat in my house, I can still stay warm with blankets. But these people that are out in the cold, they can't do this. Are these people that don't have the money to buy certain groceries that they need? Does it hurt me to go without to help them get what they need? No. And if it upsets this lady that said this to me, then you're not the person I thought you were. So where are we now? Where are we now? You know, we talked the other day about what's that island that they want? Is it Greenland or Iceland? Remember, someone help me out here. You know the island that we want to buy that the hat said he's going to buy? Anybody know? I'm just having a brain fart about what it is. Greenland. Okay, thank you, Bill. Bill, you know, you really come to my savior. You know, you're a savior for me, buddy. Thank you. A lot of people. Thank you. Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Golden Arrow. But anyway, you know, Greenland, I'm thinking, why the heck do we want to buy a country way over there and make them part of us? Well, wow. All of the resources that guys, I wish I had it in front of me. I read it in last Friday night's show. Oh my goodness, the sources that this place has, it will make us a juggernaut. It will make people coming to us and we can charge them whatever we want. They are loaded. They are loaded. And why not? Why not do it? Does a hat have some amazing ideas? Yes. Now I want to talk a little bit about him, not in a bad mode. I don't believe in everything he's done, and I believe he has done a lot of good. But I'm going to ask you, Golden Arrow and Bill Woods, I'm going to ask you, Papa G and Janet, has he done really anything for the senior citizens? I got my deposit in for January a while back. After they raised my insurance, I cleared a whole $12 a month. The cost of living is where it is, and I'm going to get an extra $144 a year. You know what I said to Ron? I said, you know what? I wish I knew who I could talk to and just tell him to give the $144 to the hat, because evidently he needs it to have someone shine his shoes or buy his toilet paper. He needs it because he needs it a lot worse than us, because he has not did what he said. He's did a lot of great things. But there's still wars. Matter of fact, there's more wars now than there was when he took over. He ends one and it seems like another one starts up. Why does this happen? Because the more they can tell us there's a war in a country or two countries, or there's conflicts there, they won't be doing the things they're supposed to be doing. Now, that, I don't know what I've got to read tonight because I did no preparation for this show. Everything I got is from you guys that Ron went in and passed over to me. I know he's got the Restored Republic, the reading part. I think he's got something from TNT Tony and something else, and that'll take us through the show. But just imagine, you know, $12 a month. But he keeps saying, I'm going to make medicine the cheapest. Well, I don't care about that. I get my medicine, most of it free. I went with this one Part B last year because they gave me two medicines that was going to cost me $100 a month. And then I would have been losing money. And I went with him, oh, you know, because you're a high risk with this sicknesses you have. So I went with them, Pamela. And now I got to pay for them again this year. You know, it's like, hey, let's hook them, let's reel them in, and then we're not going to throw them back. We're going to charge him more. So I pay over $200 a month. Can you imagine, Larry? Can you imagine, Michael? Can you imagine Ian Bell and Bill Woods? Can you imagine if we had that extra $200 in our pocket, what we could do? We could maybe have a little money to spend. Now, I don't know everybody's situation. I know I'm a stupid spender, not on myself. But if I've got some money and I see somebody needs some help, I help them. It might be younger people that everybody needs a helping hand. And I figure I'm going to help as many as I can. You know, today I got to tell a funny story, guys, because to me, this is hilarious. And I'm going to see if I can bring it up because this is cool. And I think you guys will appreciate it. But today, on Telegram, I get this message, and this message is from Danica. Who the heck is Danica? So I says to him, here's how they start the conversation with a picture of Tesla. And in the picture, it says Elon Reveal Musk, CEO and owner of Tesla, 6/28/1971 to 6/28/2029. Elon Reveal Musk ID card. Then it has another picture, and it says Tesla. And here you'll see the picture. That's the one. And here's his ID card. And I see this, and I said, oh boy, I won something. And it says, this is Elon Reveal Musk, commonly known as Elon Musk, the entrepreneur and businessman who founded Twitter in 1999 and found SpaceX in 2002 and Tesla cars in 2003. I became a multimillionaire by the age of 20 years old. I was born June 28, 1971 in Pretoria, South Africa, currently 54 years old. I graduate from the University of Pennsylvania with a bachelor's degree in science. In 1995, barely studied at Stanford and University in California, but decided to quit because my business career. Okay, I sent you my private text messages here on Telegram for a purpose, okay? I said, okay. Well, listen to me. You need to be very, very careful who you talk to online. Many are using my profile claiming to be, I don't want you to fall victim, okay? Okay. Everything will be fine, okay? Trying my best to put things into order, okay? Okay. I'm going to send you my SpaceX code that you can identify me whenever texting and someone is texting you pretending to be me. You ask them, what is your code? And if they can't give it, you know that they are an imposter. Okay, he gives it to me. All right, my Tesla company SpaceX identification security is as followed, and I will not give it out. To identify me, you ask the code. If I provide the code, then you know it's me. I didn't provide you with this as an imposter. Also, I have to keep this SpaceX security code safe and secret between us. Okay. Oh, I tell him, okay, I'll keep the code safe. Well, Happy New Year once again. And I said to him, sir, you haven't wished me a Happy New Year yet. So it's just original. I think he thought I was a smart butt. He goes, also, have you participated, and then has a picture of a present, and gotten any gift packages, another present, from my Tesla car company? And he's got a picture of a car, 2026 New Year, explosions, area giveaway, present, program present before. I said, I've had a couple of people contact me about this, Mr. Musk, but could you tell me what your code is? And I don't think he believed I asked. He said, I just give it to you. I said, I know, but how do I know someone wasn't holding a gun to your head? And now someone else is on. So he gives me the code. He says, I like your style. I said, I have had them, but I figured they were a scam. He said, they might have got you information just to steal money from you. That is why you need to be very careful, okay? I said, yes, sir, I am. That's why I just asked you the code. Well, right now, as we speak, my Tesla car company has started running a 2026 New Year area Tesla giveaway program. Again, pictures of presents for lucky and serious fans who are all ready to participate. I said, I understand what you're doing, sir, but if there's any money involved that I have to pay you, I'm going to have to consider this a scam, because how do I know who you really are? If you really want me to know who you are, come and talk to me on a call where I can see you. I know what you look like. I know what you sound like. And I know that I'm still taking a chance there because everything is AI generated. He says, sir, there's no need for that. I said, well, I don't have much money, so if I have to pay anything, but why would I have to pay anything, sir? I asked him because, see, it's a situation. You're right. It's going to be a scam. You're right. I'm getting there. But anyway, why would I have to? You're a multi-billionaire. You may be the richest person in the whole wide world. I said, sir, did you realize if you would go out and give every person in the world $1 million, the world would be much better off and you would still be a billionaire. And he didn't know what to say. He said, listen, he gave me a list. He said, listen, you have been selected among my 2006 New Year's area Tesla car company giveaway program. Selected and choose the lucky number before we proceed. Kindly tell me what is your favorite color and proceed. I said, my favorite color is red. He said, now he gives me a list of 10 little packages and he says, tell me which one you like. Well, you guys know which one I'm going to pick. I picked number 5. His response was, wow, congratulations. And he's got horns blowing, pictures of them. You just won. And he's got trophies and all that. The sum of $7 million in a brand new red Tesla car from the ongoing 2026 New Year area program giveaway promotion to assist some of our citizens and disabled people 2026. What would you do with this kind of money? I said, sir, I believe in patriotism. I believe in helping people. And I believe tonight when I do my show, there will be around 100 people or more that will watch the show and chat. I believe these people, some of them can be helped very much, whether it's $1,000, $10,000 or more. And I said, I will help as many people as I can. He said, that is a great answer, sir. And then he gives me a picture of nothing but a box full of $100 bills. I don't know if you could see him. It didn't come out right. And I said, sir, anybody can do that. Anybody can show a picture of $100 bills. Then he shows me this new Tesla car. And to be honest with you, it's a nice car. Here it is. It's a nice car. I could see me and Ron riding around in that. And he tells me this is the picture of my car. And he's so happy. And I said, sir, can I ask you a question? And he said, yes. And I said, what is it going to cost me? And he says, sir, don't worry about the money. We'll get to that. Why would you think it's going to cost me? Because I said, all the people who do things like this, there's always a cost. There's going to be paperwork. There's going to be delivery charges. And there's going to be all of that involved. And I don't have any money, so I can't do this. So if it's going to cost me even $20, sir, let's stop now. There's no sense going any further. He looks at me and he says, sir, you got to understand. You got to understand that we need this. I said, what do you need to charge me anything for? You're the richest man in the world, or one of them. Why do you need money from me? He said, registration fees. And I said, you can take your registration fees and stick them where you set. I looked at him. I said, now let me ask you a question now. You know the hat, right? But I called him by his real name. And he says, yes, I do. I'm very good friends with him. I said, could you tell me why you and him put together DOGE? Can you tell me why you put together saving this country billions and trillions of dollars, that you recovered billions and trillions of dollars, who was receiving money from our government that was 200 and 300 years old, and they've been doing this? Can you tell me why? And not one person has received any money. Why are we sleeping on this? And he wouldn't answer. I said, oh, does a cat have your tongue? And I said, this is going to be the same way, because if I was to give you a registration fee, what's going to happen, sir, is you're going to come back and say, well, now you have to pay delivery costs. And then it's going to be something else. And then you guys are going to go out and have fun because you just took me for maybe $1,000. But you can't, because I don't have $1,000. He said, well, sir, the registration fee is $400. I said, I don't have $400. Now here, Janet and Elaine and Pamela and Bill and Brooklyn Project, Ian and Tony, would you agree with me, Virginia and Larry? Would you agree with me if I tell them I haven't got $400, but it's going to cost $400? What's their next choice? Well, how much can you come up with? I told him $10. And he said, well, sir, that's an insult to me. And I said, sir, it's an insult to me too. But I said, thank you. You give me something for my show tonight, because I'm going to warn people. If you get anything, it's nothing but a hoax. You're nothing but a hoax. And I said, please get off of my channel before I report you. You know, I was told that Telegram and I was told that Signal was secure. They was good, secure channels. But right now, the scum buckets are coming out like it's just never ending. Wow. That was a lot. But I wanted to warn you guys, because this is going on all the time. All the time. Needless to say, I don't think Donica. I said, why did you come in as Donica? Why didn't you come in as your name? But he didn't have an answer. So let's see what we have. Retired Lieutenant Colonel Thomas J. Lennox confirms QFS has already been implemented. Fed and the IRS are already been dealt with. President the Hat has not yet made official announcement because people are slowly introduced to the truth. How slow do we need to be introduced? We don't need to go. People are waiting. You know, I read something today and it said, if you're talking to a stupid person, it doesn't matter what you say. They are not going to change their mind. If you're talking to a person that's not open-minded, they are not going to change their mind. And it's true. So why not change their mind when they see others reaping the rewards of what we're trying to tell them? I can tell you, I can make a list right now of 20 people off the top of my head that they don't care about anything I say. They don't believe in anything. And no matter what I say, until they see green things in their hand, they are not going to believe it. Unless they see Ralph and Ron driving around in a new car, having money, throwing a party just to celebrate. Not to put it in people's face, but just to have a little fun for what we've went through for all of these years. When they say, well, how did you get that? Well, the same way you're going to get it, because we've told you for years. But good things are worth waiting for. But wouldn't you all agree, Virginia, Tony and Janet, Moonchild, wouldn't you all agree that we've waited long enough? But there's never an answer. I love watching or listening to Bruce and the Big Call and getting play-by-play information from Marianne. I love it because we get talking about, we'll guess what is going to be the holdup this week. You know, how many times is Iraq going to put the rates on the Forex? Now, we've been told that the elite, guys, did you hear this? The elite 4B are being paid. And I'm thinking, when Ron told me this and he showed it to me and I read it, the Elite 4B, because he asked me, read it and see if you read it like I do. And I did read it the same way. And it upset me because, see, why is anybody elite? If we're 4B, we go together. And I looked at him, I said, you know, when I was in school, Ron, I always got called on first because my last name was Anderson. And we always got, the only one that got called on first before me was Adams, and there was a cousin of mine, Randy Adams, same age as me. His dad has the same name as me, Ralph. But it's always been this way. But now, when we're supposed to be fixing things, when we're supposed to be hallelujah, amen, and God bless the USA, and we do as a group here, as a family here, we do, but they don't. The people who's running it, they're always looking for an excuse to not bring this out. How long do they expect us to go? How many more lives are we going to lose because we don't get them on the special bets? And I'm not saying this because I'm mad, guys. I'm saying because it's the truth. What do we have to do, Pamela? What do we have to do, Virginia and Kevin? I don't know. I wish someone could come up with an answer. The final sequence has started and there's no turning back. How many times have we heard this? Okay. Systems are locking, legacy channels are collapsing, and QFS execution is moving silently into place. From now until February 1st, we're at February 26th. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm jumping ahead. My bad. Okay, from now until February 1st, access is being verified, lists are finalized, and only what is aligned will be moved forward. This is not a drill, and it will not be announced twice. The reset is executing in real time. Share this with everyone. Okay, go out. I once sent a video out to 12 people, and I said, share it with everybody. Ask them to share. Tell the people the time is now. Maybe if we get the word out there, maybe if the people, what if you share it with your friends and your family, and say there's 20 people you share it with Clint Home and Gary, Ian. What if you share it with 20? Everybody here. We have 104 people. That's 2,000 people we're sharing with. What if we just open the eyes of 10% or 20%? That's 200 to 400 people that's open their eyes. What if them 200 to 400 go out and share with 20 people? That's 8,000 more. And if we hit another 20%, we're looking at 1,600 more people. Them 1,600 go out and do the same thing. Can you see the numbers? And this is just from a small group of Patriot 5, Patriot 6, and family. What if someone like Charlie Ward, who has over 1 million followers, what if he'd get off his dead butt and quit telling people this is a movie and actually do something productive? What if he'd do that and go to 1 million people and say, hey, you believe in me, you follow me, you pay money to me, you made me a very wealthy man. But what if he was to do that and say, go out and share it with 20 people? That's 20 million people. Can you see how we could reach the whole world if people would work together? Not a drill, just a lie. Well, I won't say it's a lie, but I'll say this. It's not a truth right now. It's a stretch. And now Tony talks about Iraq. There's a lot of good news. Tony has brought special person on so we can hear the bad news from Iraq directly from her. Tish, supposedly they will appoint a president tomorrow. Parliament met and they didn't agree. The Parliament building is a green zone. 2 members of the security detail got into a physical fight over Maliki yesterday. There was a verbal altercation. A contact in Iran, the death toll there is from 50,000 to 100,000 people, and the stories are horrific. Tony's contact said 43,000 people dead. Iraq got kudos for improving their international trade and transparency. They will probably not meet tomorrow and vote on the. They will probably not meet tomorrow and vote on the presidency, but we can hope. They have 2 more weeks, Tish believes, to select a president. Tony, news articles are saying Maliki will be the next prime minister. Tony says he is not going to be the PM. He is trying to force his way in and paying people to support him, but the U.S. said he cannot because he is too tied with Iran. Iraq systems are fully ready to go, along with the UN and the IMF. No need to watch Forex. They won't happen until we start going, and likely only after they have finished paying out the higher rates to US. They have been waiting for the fireworks. A couple of countries said they needed more protection for the RV. That was taken care of. Some people right now who will remain nameless are trying to convince the hat not to do this all. These 2 things have delayed the RV. This way, the way to solve the issue was to expand the RV. We should start hearing this tonight, tomorrow night. Everyone is ready and everyone is in place. They had a re-strategize that has been accomplished and all has been agreed. Iran is talking a lot of junk publicly about what they can do and will do, but in the back room, they are willing to talk. but the time for talking may be over. People in Iran are begging for us to help. Tony is telling horrific stories about the events. They are trying to hide the evidence. The banks were informed this morning that they will start exchanges this week. They are scheduling people for the week and next week. Tony's personal belief is that he may still be 48 to 72 hours out, so we can see how things in Iran work out. All of the rates are still there, and the procedures have not changed. Don't listen to people who hear from banks that is a scam, etc. Some of them just don't know, and others have been told to say this, to avoid lineups at the banks. People who have already exchanged have told the funds have told their funds should be available to them Tuesday. There is no reason for us to be in the banks right now. The PM and the president of Iraq can be appointed after we exchange. They know the consequences of not doing what the U.S. says. So we are waiting for the next 24 hours. Tony is looking for it tonight. The IMF said that between tonight and Thursday, there is high hope it is over. Well, that says a lot. Is this our week? I'm going to be positive and say this is our week. And for all those who want to come back and say, Ralph, you always say that. Let me ask you a question, Ian. Let me ask you a question, John Holiday or Golden Arrow, Kevin or Pamela, Ian Bell, Elaine. All of you that are here, Bobo, if I come on and I would say, I don't believe this is our week, I don't believe this is our month, I don't believe this is our year, would you keep watching me? Good night, Myrna. Myrna, you can stick around. I'm about 1 minute away from ending. New leader in Vietnam is a good sign. Okay. Thank you, Ian. But no, if I was to come over here and preach nothing but negativity, would you keep your spirits up? Would you want to come back and watch the shows? I started almost 6 years ago doing shows with a high intensity, laughing and joking and telling stories. And I got away from that. And now I'm back and I enjoy doing what I'm doing. And I hope if you get nothing out of my shows, and maybe you'll say there was nothing in the show, and that's your God-given right and ability to say so. But I come into these shows to do the best I can do. But more so, I come into it to do what I think is going to help you, Tony, and you, Ian, and you, Johnny, and Bill Woods and Janet and everyone that's over here and everyone that's over on this side who isn't in the chat. Just because I can't talk to you, I don't know who you are over here. I mean, we have maybe 30 people in the chat, maybe 20, and we have 104 on. A minute, an hour and 8 minutes in. I've run a little over tonight, and it's amazing because I was talking to Julia. I was writing her a letter today, and I told her I've done absolutely no preparation, but I had some ideas in my head. I had some things I wanted to get out to you guys. And when I asked you the questions and you guys answered them as abundantly as you did, it made me feel good. It made me feel great that we're working together as a team. And with that, I'm going to say good night. Wow. Good night. God bless, and we love you all. We'll see you Wednesday night. Hopefully we'll see you Wednesday night with some amazing news. Hopefully Tony is right. 12 to 24 hours, 24 to 48 hours. You know, guys, if it would just happen on February 1st, I'm okay with that. But I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Aren't you? Tony, Moonchild, Pamela, Bobo, Bill, Johnny, Myrna didn't leave. I talked her in. So I got to go, guys, because I talked Myrna in to stay. And I know Myrna, when she gets tired, she wants a drink. No, I'm just kidding. She wants to go to bed. Myrna's a hard worker. And we all love her. We all love all of us here. Good night. God bless. And we'll see you later. I'm going to say how high was